Hello and welcome back to Serpent Sunday. As always, I'm your host, Morgan. Jinx was going to join me for this one, but it's a little bit chilly out and I am not comfortable bringing my tropical ball python out here when it's not sunny and it's in the 60s-ish. Bit too cold for him. So today we're just going to address the fact that spring is just about here at time of recording and at the time the video goes live. So snakes all over the northern hemisphere are going to start coming out and about again. Last week, if you watched my mini meltdown about people handling venomous snakes in very unsafe manners, you'll understand why I feel today's video is necessary. So what should you do if you're out hiking, camping, enjoying the great outdoors, or even just in your backyard and you see a wild snake? So generally, what I'm going to tell you is to leave that snake the hell alone, especially if you cannot identify what it is. Now, most times it's probably not going to be a venomous snake, but I still do not advocate for people that don't know what they're doing going and messing with a wild snake. I will always advocate that if there's a reason why you can't just leave it alone, call your local animal control, call your local authorities, have a business card for someone who's trained to relocate wild snakes, and get in touch with them to safely capture and relocate that animal. Now, if that is not possible, or say you are someone who knows what they're doing, or you're out in the wilderness specifically looking for reptiles, or herping as it is called, there are some things that you should probably have in your mental back pocket. One, you should know how to positively identify the venomous species in your area, so you can know without a shadow of a doubt if what animal you're about to be messing with is actually safe to be messing with or not. Again, I do not advocate for people to go out and messing with any sort of wild animal in general. However, I do understand that this is a hobby that especially weird herpetology kids like myself or zoology people like to do in their free time. And also be able to tell the difference between not only those venomous species that you need to be able to ID to know if it's safe to go near the animal, be able to tell the difference between a similarly looking non-venomous species and the venomous species. And I get that that's essentially saying the same thing as be able to ID the venomous species, but you need to know directly in your brain what species look close to another species so that you don't go into automatic, that's a gopher snake, I can catch it, I can handle it. But guess what? That's not a gopher snake, that's a rattlesnake. Or other species like the mountain king snake and coral snakes look very similar. Know how to tell the difference, because if you know what species look very close to other species, you're going to pause immediately before you do anything to reconfirm that you are looking at what you think you're looking at. The other thing that's going to be just good practice no matter what you're doing, if you're going to be flipping over like pieces of bark or rocks or anything, when you do so, you're going to want to say, have your piece of bark here, and you're going to want to lift it so that it's between you and anything that's underneath it. So that if there is something that you really don't want to get bitten by under there, they can escape away from you and feel less threatened. Because if you pick it up like that, you are directly in their line of sight. You are directly threatening them. You are creating an artificial corner, and they may not realize that they can escape on the sides. So snakes, their first instinct is going to be to bite if they can't get away, because their teeth are pretty much the only things that can protect them. There's not a whole lot of pointy bits on a snake. But again, please don't go out and just handle animals willy-nilly. In general, you're going to want to leave it alone. Take a picture. This is a time when the zoom feature can be utilized, my children. Or if you have a selfie stick, I know that that is one way that my own herpetology professor and other guest speakers we had said is a great way to get the close-up photos of the more scary snakes. But again, be safe. Know what you realistically are skilled to do. And that's going to save you a lot of heartache. Helping a gopher snake cross the road is going to be a lot lower stakes than figuring out how you get that diamondback out of the middle of the road. Both can be done. However, one should really only be attempted by someone who is trained to handle venomous snakes. Which brings us to the next thing. If you have a venomous snake in your yard or near your home, please don't try to kill it with a shovel. You're more likely to get bitten if you take it into your own hands and do that. A lot of snake bites are the direct result of someone doing something stupid, i.e. taking the shovel and trying to kill the snake. It's going to get defensive. Snakes are not aggressive, they are defensive. It's going to try to defend itself, and it's going to end badly for both of you. I personally have a business card of a lovely individual that I met at an event for one of the local reptile shops in my area that I frequent, and they are trained to relocate rattlesnakes when they end up in the yards. I live in a deserty, chaparral type ecosystem, so we get lots of rattlesnakes in the area. My yard specifically, not so much, but a few blocks down where they're closer to our communities, kind of natural areas, it's more common. They also do venomous snake training for dogs. And what the snake training for dogs usually entails is avoidance training. So you're training your dog to see snake, stay away from it. And I also strongly advocate for doing things like that with your pet, especially if you take them out into the wilderness with you. Because you can get your dog the rattlesnake venom vaccine, which again, if you're going to take them out into the wilderness with you, look into things like that because it can save your pet's life. The vaccine on top of snake avoidance training is only going to make your life easier and possibly save your pet's life, because a snake bite can be very bad very quickly for your pet. A full-grown human may not succumb nearly as quickly as your mid-size Australian Shepherd mix. So please, if you're going to take your pets out into the wilderness with you, one, keep them on a leash. We stan people who follow leash laws here. And look into the snake avoidance training if it's available in your area. And almost all vets in at least areas that have the venomous snakes in abundance will be able to get you the rattlesnake vaccine for dogs. I know in my area, pretty much every single vet will offer them, and if that particular vet doesn't, they can send you to someone who does. Because, again, we are in a desertous, chaparral-ish area, and we get a lot of rattlesnakes. So to sum everything up, don't go mess with the wild animal unless you 100% know what you're doing, 100% have ID'd that that is not a snake that's going to send you to the hospital. And if it's in your yard, call someone who is trained to relocate it. Don't try to kill it. Snakes are important to the environment, and you're only going to end up getting yourself hurt and needlessly killing an animal that wasn't asking to mess with you and was just going about its life just like you were trying to go about yours. And snake training, venom vaccines for dogs. It's important. So I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, afternoon, evening, what have you. Remember, it's warming up, so watch where you're stepping and be careful about how you pick up rocks and logs and pieces of bark and things like that. I will see you all in the next one.
Thank you again for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell if you would like to see more. And if you'd like to follow me on any of my other social medias, the links are down in the description below. Don't forget to check out thereptilegoth.com for all of my articles and blog posts. If you found any value in this video and you would like to help support the channel, please check out my Patreon page. That link is also in the description down below. And a special thanks goes out to my Diamond Dragon patron, Diane V. What you're doing is really helping me fund a dream here. I will see you guys all in the next one.